The FA Community Shield might be the most divisive football competition in England, thanks in part due to question marks regarding the status of the competition. Is it a competitive curtain raiser to the season, or is it just a glorified friendly? Is it a major trophy, or should it even count as a trophy at all? You can expect 3 things from this video. 1. A brief history of the competition. 2. An overview as to why the competition shouldn't be taken seriously.
The manager was including the Charity Shield as a major trophy. My God.
And 3, an overview as to why it should be taken seriously. Leave a comment letting me know your thoughts on the Shield, whether you think it's a glorified friendly or a competitive fixture, and also do make sure to subscribe to the channel for more football video essays. Let's get straight into the video. The modern-day FA Community Shield can trace its origins all the way back to the 19th century, to 1898, with the founding of the Sheriff of London Charity Shield. As the name suggests, it was the brainchild of the then Sheriff of London, his goal being to raise funds for charity by pitting the best amateur side against the best professional side on an annual basis. But the competition was short-lived and was abolished in 1907 due to increasing tensions between amateur clubs and the FA because of the rise of professionalism. The FA Charity Shield was its replacement, which initially pitted the Football League top-flight champions against the Southern League champions in the inaugural fixture of 1908. The format varied drastically over the following decades until finally, in 1974, the FA finally settled on a format which we now see today. A match at the start of the season, usually played at Wembley, contested between the League and FA Cup holders. The only exception was that until the introduction of a penalty shootout in 1993, the trophy was shared in the case of a draw. The Charity Shield was renamed the Community Shield in 2002 after the Charity Commission found the FA to be in breach of charity law. And that's how we arrived at the modern-day Community Shield.
Here is why the Community Shield is shite.
For many, the Shield is just a glorified friendly and shouldn't count as a major honour, or even an honour at all. Whilst not called the Charity Shield anymore, funds from the match do still go to charity, so that makes it seem more like an exhibition match and a fundraising exercise rather than a competitive fixture. Before the pandemic, Premier League teams were permitted 3 subs, whilst in the Shield, they're permitted 6 subs, and that does make it seem much more like a friendly than a competitive fixture. Indeed, some managers have used it as a warm-up exercise, as a continuation of pre-season. Fergie, for example, stated he used it as a barometer for fitness, and he sometimes fielded players who weren't even fully fit. And the history of the format doesn't do it any favours in terms of increasing its status. Up until 1974, the format varied drastically. Sometimes it was the Southern League champions taking part. Sometimes it was an amateur side taking part. Sometimes it was a total exhibition match. On one occasion, there was an England World Cup team against an FA team. And what's worse is that on a number of occasions, some teams declined to take part. For example, 1971, Arsenal won the double. It should have been them versus the runners-up of the FA Cup, Liverpool. However, Arsenal had pre-arranged friendlies, so couldn't take part. So their friendly matches took priority over the Shield. So what actually happened was FA Cup runners-up Liverpool took on 2nd Division champions Leicester. And then the following year, it should have been Leeds United and Derby County as winners of the league title and the FA Cup. But both of them simply declined to take part. So 3rd Division champions Aston Villa took on a Manchester City side which finished 4th in the top flight. And even when the format was finally settled on in 1974, it still retained that really weird ruling of if there was a draw, the trophy would be shared. So you can understand why so many view the Shield as nothing more than a glorified friendly. A manager wouldn't dare use any other cup final as a fitness exercise. So why the Shield? Perhaps because it's not a major trophy. Perhaps it's not a proper trophy at all.
Here is why the Community Shield is alright.
Right, let's try to restore some pride into the Shield now, and let's start by acknowledging what the match fundamentally is. In the modern era anyway. It's a competitive fixture, so that means that goals scored in the fixture, that means appearances in the fixture, will count towards a player's overall official record. For example, Wayne Rooney scored 253 goals for Man United, and that includes 1 goal scored in the Community Shield. So immediately, it's not similar to a club-friendly game where goals and appearances don't count towards official records. I'm looking at you, Pele. It's also an historic fixture. Chelsea, for example, is only 3 years older than it. But what else is the Shield? Typically, it's the English top-flight champions against the holders of the FA Cup. It's therefore league champion versus cup winner. In the modern era, it's the exact format as the Italian Super Cup, the French Super Cup, the German Super Cup. It's also very similar in format to the Spanish Super Cup and every other Super Cup in domestic club football. Therefore, the Shield would be better described as the English Super Cup. In fact, that's what Transfermarkt, one of the best and most comprehensive football websites, does. And this sentiment has been echoed by the FA and UEFA, who both recognise this fixture as a competitive Super Cup. And just as there are managers and pundits who don't rate the validity of the Shield as a major trophy or a trophy, there are managers who do rate it. For example, Guardiola described it as the first final of the season. Klopp dismissed allegations that it was a friendly. So it's not in dispute that this Shield is a trophy, prestigious or not. It's a competitive fixture. It counts towards a player's official records, and it's recognised as a competitive Super Cup by the two footballing institutions which matter most in respect of English club football, the FA and UEFA. But is it a major trophy? This is where it gets very tricky, and it all comes down to subjectivity, because there is no official sanctions definition of what constitutes a major trophy. As far as I can tell, the term major trophy is just a fan term and doesn't actually mean anything. The closest I could find to a footballing body defining what a major trophy is this article by UEFA, which predates the creation of the UEFA Conference League, but which lists the European Cup, UEFA Cup, and Cup Winners' Cup as the only three major UEFA trophies, and therefore one can infer from this article from UEFA that the UEFA Super Cup therefore isn't a major trophy. The term major trophy is nevertheless a very common term in England. It's used by broadcasters like Sky often to illustrate the achievements of a player or a club. For example, according to Sky, Liverpool has more major trophies than Man United because Sky hasn't included each club's Community Shield tally. If it did, then as of recording, it would mean Man United actually has one more trophy than Liverpool. But notice how the Sky article does consider the UEFA Super Cup to be a major honour, which is contrary to the UEFA article ruling it out as a major honour, and it also includes the now defunct Intercontinental Cup, which was another Super Cup, as a major honour. Clearly, there's no concrete definition or consensus as to what a major trophy is, and it's all open to interpretation. It would be fair to say that if the Super Cups of other nations are counted as major trophies, then therefore the Shield should also be counted as a major trophy, since it's just the English equivalent. My interpretation of what a major trophy is, if I had to pinpoint it, would be asking these questions, and I'd require a yes to all of these questions for the trophy to count as a major trophy. Is the trophy competitive? Goodbye Audi Cup and other friendlies. Can top flight teams take part? Goodbye competitions which are not in the top flight, such as the Championship. Is it officially recognised by a national, international, or continental footballing body? Goodbye Intercities Fairs Cup. Is it a lasting competition and not just a one-off, temporary, or short-lived competition? Goodbye Full Members Cup, goodbye Football League Super Cup, and goodbye Sheriff of London Charity Shield. But what you'll notice is the FA Community Shield does answer yes to all of those questions. So to summarise the argument in favour of the Shield, it's a competitive fixture. Top flight teams can take part. It's recognised by the FA and UEFA as a competitive Super Cup. And it's a competition that's been in existence since 1908, and since the inception of the Premier League, we've had the current format. It can't be in dispute that it's a real trophy, and by my definitions at least, it's also a major trophy. So what's the conclusion? Is the Community Shield a glorified friendly, or is it a major trophy? I've tried to give you all the relevant information I could source, so you should hopefully be able to come up with your own idea and your own conclusion. But for me, I think it's both. Speaking purely anecdotally for a second, in 2014, I went to Wembley twice to watch City. Once in the League Cup final, once in the Community Shield. And City went 1-0 down in both of those games. But the feeling in the stadium, the atmosphere, my personal feeling, is just night and day between the two. In the League Cup final, when Sunderland went 1-0 up, I was genuinely gutted. City went 1-0 down against Arsenal in the Shield, and I didn't really mind that much. Obviously, I was a bit annoyed, a little bit disappointed, because you don't want to see your team lose. You don't want to see them miss out on a trophy. But the atmosphere in the stadium, my own personal feeling, it was just a total contrast, and it was almost as if it didn't really matter if we lost. And certainly that was my feeling travelling back to Manchester. I didn't really mind that much. And ultimately that does make sense, because the Shield, at the end of the day, is the least prestigious of the 4 domestic trophies that a top-flight English club can win. Also, in some countries, like Spain and Italy, they don't even host it domestically sometimes, so that adds fuel to the idea that it's just an exhibition match. It's a glorified match. It's a showpiece more than anything else. My conclusion is that the Community Shield is a trophy you want to win, you'd enjoy winning it, you'd prefer winning it, but you wouldn't be that upset if you lost it. It's not a match that would define a season, and I don't think it's a trophy you'd brag about winning, nor would you want to be seen claiming it could constitute part of a treble or a quadruple. But for me, it is still a trophy, and a major trophy, despite it not being a particularly prestigious one. I do think if the competition was renamed to something like the English Super Cup, then it would be treated with a bit more reverence. The Super Cups on the continent seem to be taken more seriously. And maybe it's as simple as the Community Shield has its origins in charity. I also think your view of the trophy can change depending on whether you allow your biases to dictate your personal opinions. For example, it's in the interest of Liverpool fans to say the Shield is not a major trophy, because then they can say they have more major trophies than Man United, and vice versa. Man United fans want it to count as a major trophy, because then they can say they have more trophies than Liverpool. And that is a pattern I've noticed whenever I bring this topic up online. Most Liverpool fans will try to undermine it. Most United fans will support it. Let me know your thoughts on the Shield in the comments below. Is it a glorified friendly? Is it a trophy? Is it a major trophy? I'll also be doing a watch along of the game over on Twitch and YouTube, so do make sure to join me for that. I'll see you next time.